What's up, guys? My name's Eli, and I am here with Shay, and welcome back to another episode of the Nani Network.
The podcast where we give you the unbiased, unfiltered, but full of love opinion of animes, 2 shows at a time.
You heard it right. From the underdog's journey to the darkest tale, let's see where your favorite anime lands on the Nani Network scale.
Woo! All right, so today's episode is another Nani Network short. So for our regular listeners, you'll know that we've been doing an ongoing series, a recap of Fire Force. So today's episode, we're going to be covering Fire Force episodes 11 through 15.
Yes, ma'am.
A lot of shit went down.
So much stuff goes down in this series. I think Fire Force, when you look at it online, there's a lot of mixed reviews about it. But for us, I think we both can agree that it doesn't step off your neck. Mm-hmm. It's one of the shows that from start to finish, even the filler episodes, everything is significant to the plot. They do not take a breath to be like, oh, okay, even the first episode when they were shopping. You know, they were shopping and then boom, there's a fucking infernal demon with 5 hearts. You know, so where we kind of left off was after they got back to New Tokyo or the Tokyo Empire from their excursion to find out more information on Amaterasu, Adola, and the Adolaverse. And they ultimately find out that basically the power source for Amaterasu or these tabernacles would be a user of the Adolaverse. So we come back to it, and basically Shinra, our homie, and everyone who is there is filling in Obi on what's going on. And this was kind of the first really cool revelation, because even though I kind of understood the gravity of everything we were witnessing in the previous 5 episodes, when they kind of blatantly said it, they were like, well, that means everything that's in our scriptures is wrong.
It's the acknowledgement.
It's a lie. The acknowledgement. Because like they showed that. They showed like, you know, all the religions tearing down and how it all seemed to be linked to the evangelists and blah, blah, blah. But then for them to blatantly say like, yo, they say Latom and they pray as before they kill these
someone
infernals.
Who wasn't there. So like when they're recanting the story to Obi, like to hear it from someone who wasn't there, that he understood what they're saying.
So you're saying our ideals and everything that this new empire is based off of is a facade and a fallacy.
It was all a lie. Guys, it was all a lie.
So that is what the ultimate craziness that came about from that last 5 episodes. They just blew the fucking top open. Mm-hmm. They literally blew the freaking top off the shit. So they briefed them, and Obi, of course, being the good captain that he is, says, I'm going to take this shit straight to the top. Mm-hmm. I'm going to take this straight to the highest person.
Obi really don't learn. I don't know how many times he needs to
Because who's at the top, Obi? The freaking church.
They always brush him aside or say that's cute or like try to give him something to distract him. And they're like, I don't think you understand it. We don't care.
Yo, the last time they told him like, hey, you can do whatever you want. We just ain't going to help you. This time they said, you know what? We got it. 3 years from now, we telling everybody.
I don't even think they said they was going. They said like that was when they said that
they'll start taking the
steps.
They'll
think about it. Yeah, they'll be in a better place to break it to the people
in 3 years.
Because I know that they're not going to be like, all right, well, on March 31st, 2029, we're going. No,
and that's if the solar calendar is still 365 days. You don't know if a year is 18,000.
They probably had Obi on hold. Like, how long should we tell him? He said 3 years. He'll forget.
Tell him 5. No, that's too much. He ain't gonna take 5. Say 3. It's ridiculous. It is honestly ridiculous what they continue to do to my man.
Right. So once they tell Obi that he comes back, he gives the team the time frame, and everybody's like, of course, that's fucking ridiculous, right? Because they're like, they want us to wait 3 years to expose this information, but they're like, the White Clad is not about to ease up on their plans or like be
people
like,
okay. People are still busting. We still got combustors rolling around. Like no one.
Said, we don't think you understand, but the world is not going to be put on pause because y'all decided this information wants to wait. On the one hand, I do understand why it's like, you know, we're not about to just, you know, let it out in an Apple press release. Like, oh, you know, turns out your whole identity is a lie and everything that you have faith in.
We're not going to Devilman Crybaby it.
Yes.
We're not going to do that. But in the same breath,
there's people that are dying.
We can't just freaking let them die and let them continue to be ignorant.
Yeah, and have this false hope.
Mm-hmm. So I think with that being said, that leads us up to who I think is the MVP of these last 5 episodes, Licht. Licht is in the room and he's all like, okay, this is some bullshit. So I'm going to go ahead and take this info and pass it on to my homie who I've been working with. One of the many homies he's been working with on the low.
Absolutely.
But my homie number one who I've been working with, who is Joker, and say, hey, I got some more info. Here's what's going on. And that leads to...
Well, he also told it to Hajima because he was working...
Yeah, but
with Hajima.
But focusing on like right now is just what he initially went and he told Joker first, who led to the team up that I never knew I fucking needed between Benimaru and the Joker as they storm I don't know, Seoul.
Yeah, the temple.
Like they stole the Temple of Seoul to find out any info, to find basically the real scriptures. Whatever was written down before it was warped into whatever the fuck it is today. So they're in there clapping and bapping these motherfuckers with the Gohan bowl cut from this Frieza saga. And they have like the balding in the middle. They were beating the shit out of the most ridiculous people. And if you don't know, and you should, Benimaru is one of the most powerful captains that we have on the Fire Force. The Joker is a super powerful anti-hero who was able to not subdue, but combat Sho when they were escaping Vulcan's Vulcan's laboratory in season 1. So these are two crazy powerful people, and that just was absolutely a batshit crazy, beautiful team up. So we got to see them do their little combos and what's going on with that. And this ultimately leads into backstory.
So we see while Joker and Benimaru are cutting up and fucking people up, they're giving us flashbacks of what Joker's time in the Temple of Seoul.
Right.
So prior to him being a self-proclaimed anti-hero, Joker actually was one of the... What do you call fanatics?
Fanatics?
Well, not a fanatic, but he was basically a child soldier of the church.
Mm-hmm.
So they would train these kids to become like a secret task force that would execute the temple's orders.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously,
and track Adolabers and demons. They were the church is aware.
Yes.
That there was Adolabers and demons, and this covert ops team that Joker was on, their mission basically was to do what the White Clad is doing, but for the church.
Yes. So the missions that they couldn't or wouldn't send their actual fire force on. So we see that, like most child soldiers, Joker went through rigorous training. He suffered a great deal of abuse at the hands of the church. Some of it was super graphic, and we see why it led to Joker having the kind of resolve that he does, because a lot of things that he went through were just really evil. And that was something else that we were exposed to a lot during these 5 episodes, was just like how the church and all of the entities involved in Fire Force really manipulate children. Like they try to hone them from this young age to become
Another person. Become another person. Become another person. Become another person.
these figures of like power, right? Like what they did with Sho, and I don't think that was the intention with Joker, but guess what? That's what happened, right? Like we see there was a part where he was able to escape, and the family that he took refuge with was eventually found and murdered. So it was kind of like a wink, like you aren't gonna get away from us. So it ties into Joker's persona and how he operates, where he kind of like has this secrecy about him, and he does everything.
He's popping up at Amaterasu. He's like in the woods. Nobody knows where he is, when he's gonna show up, or what's going on.
And he just works from the shadows, and I think that's why he works well with Licht, who's his counterpart, because Licht is very that's the face of their little crew, and he's the one who like will go in, work with people, infiltrate, and do the things that you need to be hands-on about, because not everything can be operated from the shadows.
And he also knows how to be covert, because he's out here working with everybody.
Every
himself.
fucking body.
Like he's just out here.
He said, whoever can get me the answers is who I'm impartial to.
He said, y'all owe my good sis. Like,
Literally.
like, as long as I'm good with you. But on top of Joker's backstory in his time spent with the Church of Soul or the Temple of Soul, we also get more backstory into Company One's captain. If you guys know, this is the person who was, if you guys didn't know, this is the person who was called to Shinra's house when Shinra awoke his pyrokinetic abilities, and he's the one who basically initiated the cover-up that became Shinra's fucking life. So, and if you guys remember, I commented on this in the theme song earlier before. I had anticipated that we were going to get more information on the Joker and that he was somehow connected to the man from Company One, because they displayed both of their eyes. They're both missing one eye. It displayed both of their eyes as basically overlapping over each other and a flame engulfing it. So we really got the backstory as to what the fuck is going on with these two one-eyed whores. And it's basically they were going against an infernal demon who used some sort of sound attack that I don't know what it did, but to me it opened up their third eye and gave them insight into Adola. It transferred their consciousness into Adola, and they were able to actually see. This is where it gets so fucking confusing to me, because they formed an Adola link. Both of them saw the Evangelist, so they have Evangelist grace. So, do you guys have an Adola link? You are third generations as far as we know. You've been to Adola, but there are only 8 pillars of Adola, so there should only be 8 Adola bursts. I thought that only Adola bursts, people with Adola bursts, were able to form these Adola links. So, it begs the question, what can these guys do? Is that why the Joker can combat Sho when he's going against him? Because he does have some remnants of Evangelist Grace? Is that why Company One's captain is so fucking powerful that his power is unknown? Like, both of these guys in the series are crazy powerful from what we've seen so far. So now that we know this, does that come down to them having Evangelist Grace? And can they do something with that fucking eye?
That's very good point that you raised there. And you know what it reminded me of when they showed this? The captain from Company 4, the one who got the scratch, he also saw Adola and visited Adola and had he has like a marking from Adola on him. So yeah, that's a very good point. Let's see how they go about explaining that, because once you visit, no, it's once you have an Adola link is when you become a fourth generation.
Right.
But is
with the Evangelists or like one of those god like deities.
Yes, but they all, that's true. They all visited Adola.
And those two, I believe, like the Evangelist was right in front of them. When they said we formed an Adola link, I wasn't sure if they formed it with each other, they formed it with the demon who was attacking them, or if they formed it with the Evangelist when they got there.
Because the show is so religious and has all these religious undertones, maybe it could even be like, I feel like they might even tie into something about it being like of worth. Like, were you worthy of the Evangelist's grace or whatever?
Potentially. But the last little blip of backstory that they gave us, and
blip?
This one,
you call that a blip?
Yeah, I was gonna say this one's one for the fucking record books, is Raffles the First.
Annoying.
I love that name, Raffles.
It is so bad.
Raffles basically. It confirmed the fuck shit.
You know what they did here? It's very similar to what Black Clover did, where like every episode starts with the backstory. So it starts with, and the world was engulfed in a great cataclysm and what we know as the Grian. And then one man stood up from the ashes, and he was later known as Raffles the First.
As the world man had built was buried in ash, a leader appeared. A man who would later be known as Raffles the First.
And every not every single episode, but majority of the episodes,
they have like 2 to 3 they swap it.
Yeah, start with this backstory, right? And now we find out that the Free kind of like piggybacking off of what we learned when they found the second Amaterasu was that this religion was planted. It was not organic.
Raffles the First was a member of the White Clad.
Hey, yo, what the fuck?
That's what I was gonna
No, but that's what it is. Oh, yeah.
This religion was planted. This religion was planted by Raffles the First, who was a member of the fucking White Clad.
I was being cute about it.
What?
Yes.
That is batshit crazy.
So the member of the White Clad that we saw in season 1 who was able to take on the form of other people, and they're putting things together so slowly. It's like, after you met that motherfucker, you should have questioned everything. Everything. Because like they said, I think they said Infernals don't die or don't age or something like that.
Right.
Or like people of that nature. So, and then he comes out fucking, pirouetting and saying, you know, that was me all along. Like,
because they basically, the Company 1 captain gives Joker and Benimaru the diary of the wife of Raffles the First. And what she writes basically suggests that one day her husband came back from adventuring, and although he looked the same, his personality, his ideals, and everything about him was different. And that's when it really started taking off, building the Empire of Tokyo, the new Empire of Tokyo. That's when it really started taking off, and that's where the religion of Soul came from, and that's where everything started coming. And then it flashes to the White Clad members, like Shani said, he's pirouetting in, like, yeah, the evangelist told me to do it, so
Yeah.
I was a Raffles.
and now all of Raffles' predecessors are following his outline.
Following his outline and then passing it to the citizens of the world.
Yes.
Basically, the world comes spontaneous combusted, so the only people who are left are allegedly us in this little sector, and now the evangelist has whatever remaining humans living and believing whatever the fuck he wants them to believe. That full circle.
I love how thorough the bad guys in this are.
Yeah,
It's like, dang, y'all, that is
you
some
set this
good
up
shit.
250 years ago to happen today?
The protagonist is 16. He don't know what the fuck is going on.
And they just found out. Like, it was so secretive that even the other white-clad members didn't know. That was something between the evangelist and that specific white-clad member. He said, yeah, the evangelist told me to do it. I'm the one who introduced this religion into it, and I am Raffles. It was just,
I am Raffles.
wow.
That's so...
I am Raffles.
What? Wild.
So that, like, is... I'm so excited. It was too much.
It was crazy. And then after they give us like that gigantic mind fuck, everyone's like, okay, like what what do we do? Like, we cannot twiddle our thumbs. We definitely, now they're kind of doubling down on we cannot wait 3 years.
Yeah.
We absolutely cannot wait 3 years because it's y'all motherfuckers, the ones who created it, is telling us to wait 3 years. So, they end up infiltrating, but like kind of they were invited. They were trying to lure Shinra into a Hajime lab. So Licht and Shinra.
Hajime is like, I don't know, what could we compare Hajime? Hajime is like
Amazon.
Disney. One of them.
They control
they have everything.
A hand in everything.
It's like, oh my god, if you guys watch Pixar movies, if you know there's that one company that is in every single Pixar movie, I don't know the fucking name, but if you watch like the theories on these things, like they talk about it, and it's that one company that is in everything, and they suspect that's the thing that's in WALL-E, the company that took over Big Industries, I think it's called, but literally they're like Big Industries. When the world was down, they're the company that built up. They got fucking paper, they got mechanics,
Clothes.
they got puppets, clothes, they got their hand in everything.
They made a chart and they said 70% of the working force is employed by Hajime Industries. That's how
Right.
powerful and how far-reaching their grasp is.
Including our very own Licht. Well, including the entire Fire Force.
Yeah.
But Licht specifically came in from Hajime to spy on Company 8.
And
Jackass.
Shinra.
Yeah, he said, not really y'all. Y'all was here,
Yeah.
but I came here for Shinra.
If he was at Company 4, I would have been at Company 4.
Right.
My bullshit is your bullshit. And your bullshit is my bullshit.
But so Shinra, so like we said, a little bit on Licht, he's kind of like I'm here for myself.
He's a wild card.
He doesn't have any blatant allegiances, except to Joker, because he said Joker is like, I guess, the one who's giving him a lot of this like information.
And they both kind of genuinely share in the pursuit
Yeah.
of the truth. Period.
Yes, exactly. And
They're
then
in pursuit
like
of the truth, that's it.
second to Joker, I feel like the eighth is growing on him. That's what happens, right? When you spend any time with like the main characters, you're gonna start doing the selfish, stupid shit that they do. So he's like, well, I'm gonna have to back up off of y'all for a minute.
Yo.
But because he's been with them and their mannerisms are rubbing off on him and Shinra decide he gives Shinra and Company 8 the lowdown on, look, this was about to happen. You can move your money or do your shit, whatever you gotta do. But this is the down low, bitch.
This is a motherfucking hookup.
So him and Shinra decide to infiltrate Hajime because Shinra was curious as to the fate of one of the kids that got infected by one of the...
Rekka.
Yes, by Rekka using one of the infernal bugs. So he was one of the ones who took to the transformation and he didn't go infernal, but he instead became one of the generation users. So no one knows what happened to him, and they told Shinra that he wasn't there, and then, you know, they fed him some bullshit ass story. But once Shinra got to the Hajime facility, he formed an Adola link with the little boy, and he heard him crying out for help.
Which for me was really cool, because if you remember when they initially started bringing out these Chimera Ants, the Chimera Ants were looking for Adola Bursts. They said that an Adola Burst user would not transform with it. So when that kid didn't transform, that was on my mind a lot last season. Like, oh, okay, boom, boom, boom. And he kind of sort of just vanished. So for them to again bring it full circle and for them to confirm with that Adola link with Shinra, because as I said, only people with Adola Burst should be able to form Adola links. That essentially is what awoken this little boy is. What I think his name was Nautica. His dormant abilities, his Adola Burst abilities, that shit was just so cool. They brought up a couple forgotten about characters, because come to find out that little Nautica has been so mentally fucked by the traumatic situation he's been with, that he's seeing Rekka. He's seeing Rekka in his head. Oh my stars! You need to go off.
And that's
you need to kill.
Annoying motherfucker to have stuck in your head.
You have the undefiled flame! The Adola Burst!
Because he was on 10. Like, I got nervous when I saw his face in the episode preview.
Yeah.
I said, please don't let this motherfucker be alive. Thank God it was just childhood trauma that's bringing him to the forefront of this little boy's mind.
But it's like, on top of all the shit that we found out, sure, let the 6th Adola Burst awaken. And we didn't get to see his abilities too much, but that leads us to now the showdown. Shinra and Licht and Squad. Actually, that was my favorite little moment.
I loved it.
When Licht called the Squad. And
first of all, the piece that he used, did you see that?
It was like a little bat signal. As he said, I got a little bat phone. He said, yo, Obi, shit took a turn. You guys might need to pull up. He said,
you want.
That Squad. They didn't need to know. He said, I didn't even tell you guys what it is yet.
I feel like goosebumps coming out, because I love, and you know, like I love a good Squad scene or a good Squad moment, or when they say, I love the cheesy little things. So like, same thing too, a little off topic, but like after Licht made the announcement. Now the thing is, they are fully aware that Licht is playing both sides, all the sides. Licht is playing all the sides, and they still fuck with him hard body.
Of course.
So we see Vulcan drive through their fucking security gate, and he's like, I swear for Jesus, if y'all have hurt either Shinra or Licht, what you about to do, Vulcan?
Vulcan wasn't gonna do shit.
With your no power having ass. But I thought that was so cute. And then when you think about it, yes, Hajime is the reason why his family is dead. So it's like, okay, I just started fucking with these people. Y'all not about to take them from me. So, little cute tangent aside.
But that's what I was talking about, Shay. What do you mean tangent?
No, my tangent.
But it was just everything to me, that part of the Squad moment that they had. That shit was just super duper fucking dope. So now, as our guys are like busting in to help the team, Shinra is now going after the 6 Adola Burst. He comes down to this showdown with basically, I don't know, the child abuser, the child tormentor, or the tormentor of the week, who he was already fighting, but he went after and grabbed Nautica and is holding him hostage. So now we have Company 8 versus this guy who is said to rival Benimaru in strength, right? So they're going against him, and we already know, like, Shinra hasn't gotten a level up. Like, Shinra hasn't gotten his level up since his last little fight. Like, so they're going against him, and I'm pretty sure Benimaru can still kick Shinra's ass.
He can.
Fairly easily.
Also something I thought about. I like when they make the comparisons, because I'm like, if he's as strong as Benimaru, and Benimaru's stronger than everybody else, and he also he's, Shinra's not even on his scale, this doesn't sound like a fun.
You in for an ass whooping. Freaking Obi put his face shield down, like, what's going on? I'm here. It's like, sweetie, drive the car. Like,
that man got a hard on when he saw Company 8 pull up, and he said, weak everywhere. Weak everywhere. I liked when he looked at them and he like thought that, and he was gonna attack, and then Tamaki jumps in front of Iris, and then Arthur jumps in front of Tamaki.
And then Obi jumps in front of them all.
Well, no, Arthur got blown away, and then Obi had to replace him as a shield.
Isn't that a damn shame? We knew Arthur was getting blown away.
Why do y'all keep bringing Iris dangerous places. Like, this is not a situation where she would need to do a prayer, Latom. And Tamaki, stop acting like you can't fucking
The
fight.
point
Bitch,
is
you're
you
not
never
a
know.
nun. You're not
Right,
a nun.
no, that's not for nothing. Like, Tamaki gets me super duper tight because we all know she's more
you
powerful
are a nun, but
than she is.
But like, you're since you're nun,
She's nun adjacent.
you're nun adjacent. Iris didn't need to be here, and you could fight because y'all love throwing yourselves in front of the way for fucking Iris, and she didn't
It's
need to be
just
there.
too much. But now they're going against this guy who rivals Benimaru in strength, and
And he's nuts. They highlighted that he's fucking nuts.
he's crazy. And here comes the white clad popping up to just fuck shit even more. And so,
And
to
get this-
even more of the effect that
Yeah.
Shinra hasn't gotten a freaking power up, guess who comes to, like, out of all the people who were there? Because, like, you know, we get to see Inca again. We see Sharon. We get to see Inca's advisor or her
Haumea.
protector. We see Haumea. Everyone's there. But guess who goes down first to fuck shit up? Sharon. Shinra isn't even healed. Shinra... I don't know what he's supposed to do when Sharon enters
know
the
what?
field when he hasn't gotten any training or any level ups.
I was like, I don't know who's about to fuck you up more, because the guy who's originally giving Shinra a run for his money, the one who's comparable to Benimaru, he tried to hit Sharon a couple of times and was like,
My weapons don't work
he
against
said,
you.
I might have to reevaluate my formula here.
Yo, he was trying to slice the guy. He was trying to slice up Sharon, and he said, "Oh, my blades don't work." While Shinra's over there looking like confetti, like chopped up into bits.
Right.
It's
That's
like,
not
yo,
to say that this guy can't win in a fight against Sharon, but you know they just met. So I feel like he can find a way to finesse it. But at this point, I'm just like, Company A, y'all need to pack it up.
pack.
Maybe you can try to get that little boy, because it would be really shitty if y'all lost another Adola burst. But yeah, this ain't for you babies. Oh my god.
But luckily, that kid is a little bit older and he's going through traumatic shit. I think like he's not going to be as willing as crazy
As
as
Inca?
Inca
Yeah.
or other people to join them. He's not young enough to be like molded like Sho was, who was a baby.
Yeah.
He looks like 8,
Good point,
9,
good
like,
point.
because the whole time he's like, help me. He's
Yeah.
like, I don't want to be here. I didn't do anything wrong. Like, he knows right from wrong. He knows that this is some
subconsciously
shit.
reached out to Shinra. Mm-hmm. Well, yeah,
Through his pain, like his
he
emotions.
subconsciously reached out to him, and he said like, I want to go home.
I hate it here.
I want to go
But
home.
sidebar, I actually think his mom is dead.
Yeah, his mom is,
where home
she got it first.
Yeah, so it's just like, yikes for that kid. But he's at that age where it's just like, no, like I'm old enough to realize that this is fuck shit, and I don't want no parts of it.
At all. And he has every right, so you better let him go.
Yeah.
But that's literally where we leave off after these 5 episodes.
So powerful.
After the first 3, they actually took a swap and they swapped out to their next theme song, their next opening, and their next closing for however remainder of the series we're gonna have going on. And they were equally as dope. Like, you know, as you guys know, I am a opening and closing watcher, and they definitely classily this time, I think they had a lot of class about it, dropped some hints in the opening. Because I don't know what they meant. Last time I said, oh, this means this, we're going to get this, we're going to get that. But they changed the color of everyone's flame. So they had a whole tint over the entire opening that I definitely noticed. And they highlighted a certain demon, an infernal demon, using red flames, and then they changed their flames to blue. And right after that, they show Shinra reuniting with his mother. So I don't know if that change in flames is her having a change of heart from demon back to mom, or if that demon even was fucking her. Like, you know, but it's classy. That's what I mean when I say classy. I don't know what's going on.
I think that the change in flames could be like, because they had a lot of references to Adola in this particular opening, where we see like a lot of flashes to Adola and a lot of flashes between Adola and like regular happenings and just like people transforming into the Infernals. So I think that maybe the next couple of episodes we're gonna see, I think we might see some more of Adola, because like
I feel we're definitely going to.
With Joker, like that piece that he was even
That's what
like
I was gonna
he
say,
can
yeah.
take pieces between the two worlds, like you can. Like that was very interesting, yeah. Fire Force has consistently very good openings and closings, and they're one of those animes where they don't give everything away, but they do put a lot of foreshadowing into their openings and closings.
Well, I felt like they gave everything away the last one. I was really,
Oh, you did?
yeah. I said it in the catch up. I was like, this. They kind of gave away way too much. I want them to be a little classy, and this is what I meant. They were a little bit more classier with this one, where we got a lot of glimpses. They gave us one little matchup at the end between Shinra and Company One's captain. It looks like they're gonna have a big brawl. That's gonna be absolutely crazy. Shinra, you might need 3 level ups. Yeah, because. Whatever, but the opening definitely left a lot of things to be said, and we definitely are going to get the introduction to a lot more characters, it looks like, within these next, whatever the remainder of the season is. We're at least going to get a fight between, who is it, Inca's now protector, the person who's sworn to protect her as a part of the White Clad. They showed her using some sort of symbolism behind her as well. What kind of flames does she use? These are the questions that I want a theme song to evoke out of me to make me want to watch the show even more. Especially, I'm already hooked on Fire Force, but shit like this makes me want to watch. The closing, only thing notable that I definitely saw, it's basically, instead of Shinra and Arthur now in this video game world going, it's now Arthur at the top of their quad. What do they call the band? Matchbox. I'm like, what kind of ghetto? But he's at the top of their Matchbox being driven around, I assume, by Vulcan. They don't show anybody else but Arthur. And he is basically combating infernal demons as he's chasing this one flying demon that has a brown-haired girl in its clutch. We don't know who that is. And from what we know, Arthur doesn't really have parents, right?
They abandoned him.
They abandoned him, right? Arthur's parents abandoned him.
But they're not, I don't, so we don't, deceased or anything. I don't think.
But we don't know the extent of his family. But I believe that the person that is being captured, that he's chasing after, is somebody important specifically to Arthur. And which is why they're showing him like being the main person going so hard to go after him. And they showed his flames actually leaving his blade. So I don't know if that's going to be a power up for Arthur, but give him something. Right?
Yeah, because I mean, they kind of doing our team pretty kind of bad now. Because I'm like, I don't think anyone's had a power up since Vulcan made those the owl eyes for Maki. And it's like, yeah, y'all. But you know what? They have been doing a lot of reconnaissance missions. But it's like, y'all already know that y'all are literally fighting the world.
They better look for some new techniques.
Lift some weights, join Obi in his gym sessions, like something, anything. Shinra, I haven't seen you go back to Captain Shimon yet.
You in my business? Yeah, don't do that.
Yo. And you barely had enough time to train last time.
Conron is all... what's his name?
Sharon?
No, Shimon's lieutenant. Conron? Con something. He is always at Company A, and y'all don't ask this man for no tips or nothing. Mm-hmm. Nothing.
It's
Use
just
your
ridiculous.
resources better. Like, y'all don't even ask Lick no questions, and y'all knew the whole time he was a whole ass spy. It's almost like they like being in the dark.
They love it. They actually do. It's like, he'll tell us when he wants to. Bitch. And now all the information you guys could have been had for weeks and then done even more research on had you have been plugging this guy and had him been a two-way faucet leaking information both ways instead of him just taking shit to them. Like,
he's not even the tight-lipped kind. Like, I feel like if they was like, hey, we know you're a spy, can you answer a few questions?
He literally said, I will work with anyone who's going to get me closer to the truth. You guys are on a pretty good roll here. Maybe you should... It's just hilarious. But I'm really, really, really excited for what's to come for the remainder of the Fire Force series, and definitely for these next 5 episodes, because we are in the thick of it, guys. Mm-hmm. And you wouldn't even know because their foot's been on your neck the whole time.
I think we're a little past halfway, and they have been so generous. Fire Force is amazing, well-rounded anime because the plot does not usually animes, or not usually, but sometimes you'll have animes who struggle with like having a good plot and enough action, but they're literally like fight, kick his ass, that nigga's in pieces, and now let me flip you on your head a little bit, huh?
Yeah.
Flip you on your head a little bit.
No, literally, yeah. Like, I feel like they definitely had this entire plot like written out, like maybe bullet points in a timeline as to where they want this story to go. Like, whoever the writer, kudos to you, because you're executing it really, really well. Now, granted, I want like 8 seasons out of this, baby. So if you need to pace yourself,
slow down.
You know, if you need a baby, say, okay, you know what? We in 6 or 8 Adola bursts, and we only on season 2, episode 14. Maybe we'll dial it back. Don't save those last 2 for too long now that you've given us 6.
Right.
But think of something else.
Unless, what if they kill off some and make new ones? I don't even know.
What if the last 2 is Joker and Company Ones, nigga?
Oh my God.
Ooh, Lord.
It's so much. It's just so much, and they can go literally anywhere with it. It's phenomenal. Mm-hmm. It's phenomenal.
Like, but
as you can tell, us gushing like 2 schoolgirls. Like, we thoroughly enjoy this
You
show.
guys know we can't talk about Fire Force without gushing a little bit.
So that wraps up today's short. Thank you guys for listening to us, and let's hear your ratings. We know we're not the only ones with an opinion, so sound off under the episode's Live Now pic on our Instagram at Official Nani Network. And as always, make sure you rate, review, and subscribe anywhere you can. Talk to you next week.
Laters, guys.